Welcome to John and Dylan Online. I'm Dilly G. That's Johnny H. We're going to talk about some weird bullshit that happened on the fucking internet. Or I guess now the show is just kind of talking about weird bullshit. God damn it. We're talking about the slap, bitch.
First of all,
you.
This comes from the fucking internet because the slap originated on a little program I like to call Red Table Talks, which was hosted on a little thing called that weird Facebook TV channel they tried to get going for a minute. And I had a meeting with one of the guys when I first moved to LA, and I never knew something wasn't going to go well. He's like, listen, we got a budget. We got a big budget. And he went, no one at Facebook knows what they want. They just want it to be successful. We're probably not making anything else. And I was like, all right, good. That's good to know. Good to know. Thanks very much. And they didn't. They made Jada Pinkett Smith's weird talk show where she mentioned that she'd become entangled. Oh, Dylan. With her son's friend whose name keeps falling out of my head. What is his name?
Augustus?
Yeah, it's Augustus.
It's a bunch of rich people names. It reminds me a lot of the South Park episode where the Smiths, move into South Park and it's like becoming overrun with rich people. Anyway,
it's August Alzina. Alzina.
Yeah. Well, 100%. Well, first name, you're naming him after fucking Augustus, the Roman emperor. So that's. But this is the thing. All right, do you want to get right into the Red Table Talk? Because I just watched it.
Yes, I do.
A reaction about it 7 years after the fact.
Okay, I want to do the Red Table Talk. I absolutely want to do the Red Table Talk. What's so crazy about it is A, his daughter and her mom are there. B, Jada Pinkett Smith seems to imply that his
daughter and mom are not there.
Oh, no, then there's a different episode where the daughter and mom are there. There's a few different Red Table Talks.
It's just Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Come on. Yeah. All right. I got confused. Yeah. It's Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith. They're discussing the fact
she says she's been entangled with him. This was happened a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of therapy speak.
Yeah.
These people have been through a lot of therapy. They're trying to be very, very open and have a discussion. At one point they almost start fighting very clearly.
Yeah.
And the part that everyone microanalyzes is when she was entangled. She had an entanglement.
Yeah. It was a 4-year relationship with her son's friend. She had an affair for 4 years with her son's friend.
But I think this has also been hit around, but not specifically said. They are either open relationship or probably poly.
Yeah, they are definitely an open relationship. The other thing with this is, and this is a thing you just learn living in Los Angeles, is Will Smith like loves to cheat. Like Will Smith has cheated on all of his co-stars in like the last 10 years of his movies, which is why sometimes they're like weird selections, is because Will Smith's like, I want this person to be my girlfriend. And because it's Will Smith, it usually works out because they're like, yeah, I'm going to fuck the guy from the song Big Willie style. Certainly. My holes will be millennium. And so that is what happened, and it all comes to a head when Jada Pinkett Smith goes, I can pop some fruit off the tree as well, Will. And apparently it's a real messy situation. How many people in your life have become polyamorous, Dylan? Because the last 3 years, it's a real race.
In the suburbs, 0.
It's a real race. Okay, well, it's a real race for me.
Polyamorous mean that a marriage almost ended because someone found out another person in their relationship was watching pornography? Because that's how far away from polyamory it is in this bitch.
Oh,
this is fucking... Dude, if you look at a fully clothed person, you're going to get in a fight in the grocery store.
Yeah,
That's how fucking far away from polyamory we are.
Yeah.
In this motherfucker.
Dylan somehow found a part of Toronto that is still 1998. Oh, you can smoke in that grocery store, and you better not be wearing a coat when it's cold.
I'll fucking say it again. Once you get past, well, now it's moved, but once you get past Main Street Station in Toronto, you're fucking a whole bunch of shit you can do again.
100%. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you're going east on the Danforth in Toronto, and when suddenly the buildings stop looking like they're made of brick and they're back being concrete, you can hit your kid.
Yeah, you ask someone what their background is, and they know it. They know everything about their background. Oh my god!
And it's also a Toronto background, so you get ready for a bunch of weird places to be thrown in there where you're like, listen, I'm mostly Polish, a little bit of Trinidadian, wisp of Brazilian.
But it's like, yeah, you have 4 grandparents that you know, and then you know your grandparents' lineage, and you can track everything back, and each one of those is a negative character trait that you're fine with because you're like, yeah, I hit someone with my car and drove away fast. That is the Macedonian part of me.
Yeah, I took a lie detector test, and when they asked me about Asian drivers, I said they have no souls, and that, according to the lie detector test, that turns out to be a true thing, I believe. But you have to understand, my great grandfather.
I don't know why that lie detector test for if Asian people have souls. That's another thing. That's on the cop.
Yeah, that's not the cop asking that. That's not on me. But
that's
you have to understand. You got to understand. My grandfather, great grandfather, the better one because he's great, from Ireland.
Yeah. All right.
It is also such a Toronto trait, by the way. You've nailed it. This is Toronto, by the way, is something has happened and the guy that has caused it is stood on a corner that is for some reason wet, even though it's not raining. And he's yelling about how this should be blamed off of one portion of his genetic heritage. It's because I'm Portuguese. Like that's exactly.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Greek man.
Apparently someone's never heard of Northern Macedonia, not Southern Macedonia. They're pig people.
Clearly, you've never been to the Isle of Crete and not that fucking Isle of Rhodes. Those fucking
Crete. Also, if you're playing Starfield, pretty good place to put an outpost.
I mean, we're not going to get into. If we get into a Starfield fucking chat, Dylan, we're going to be here all ding dong day.
I'll fucking Fallout in space. It's hook it to my veins. John.
Yes, Dylan.
I don't know what the fuck we were talking about, but here's my main thing is a lot of people. Okay. First of all, like you said, Will Smith cheating 100%.
100%.
Look at this man. Look at
this. You know, I actually, if you look
at Independence Day, is it?
Do you know what his
Independence Day? Is he dependent on some fucking woman for all of his? No,
certainly not.
Dependent. Also, like, it's totally fine. Like, if the roles are reversed in this exactly thing, and Will's like, I was in an entanglement, people somewhat come down on Will Smith, but everyone's like, yeah, well, you know, he's a man, bad. But then, like, obviously Jada does it, and then everyone's like,
oh my God.
Can I kill her on your behalf, Fresh Prince? Because I'm willing to die for you. I will give you my blood.
I will tell you this. I was like, this is ridiculous. That said, when it was like, oh, it's her son's friend, I don't go in for that. That's fucked up, Jada. You're saying to your son?
That seems like you're just trying to hurt the other person. Ooh, we're just a fucking gossip.
And also
now.
you're also
oh yeah, well I fucked the dog. You just have no options. Oh yeah, well the mailman wouldn't do it to me. He out and out refused. So I just fucking found a guy that looked like the mailman.
Yeah. Hey Will, you know how your dad's dead? I fucked the tombstone.
Yeah, there you go. I fucked someone with your dad's name, Augustus.
But literally, like, oh, I fucked one of my son's friends. Why did you do that? Well, I wanted to make sure that my son had the kind of therapy that involves it never actually being fixed.
Yeah, also, it's like we're so rich that we all just wear cloaks.
My God.
We all dress like the elders in the second Planet of the Apes movies. Like, we have achieved telepathy. Yes, I am fucking you right now. Ooh,
I can't tell which one of the Red Table Talks because I would watched a lot of clips, but the one thing I will notice about Will Smith is that Will Smith has clearly like told his assistant, get me some normal clothes for this. Like he's in some navy with some nice green.
There's the Oprah interview where he just has the huge King Tut from Batman villain is like, you're clearly like, it's like what Justin Trudeau. My favorite thing is what Justin Trudeau did when he caught doing blackface is he just grew a beard. He's like, check it out. I can't apologize for this enough. So if I could look at this shit.
Yo.
Got a bit of a beard, huh?
Can we just talk about this as an absolute sidebar? But this is being recorded the day after or 2 days after the Canadian Parliament inadvertently hosted a Nazi.
Hell yeah.
Did you know about this?
Yeah, and the right wing's coming down on him. It's like, we can't do anything for you guys, apparently.
Yeah, I completely agree, by the way. Oh, sorry, right wing. Like, oh, I thought we were trying to bridge the gap. This is one of your friends.
Oh, Nazis are allowed at your parties, but not the fucking Liberal Party? Get the fuck out of here.
Excuse me. Yeah. Oh, I guess they only can be the kind of Nazis that aren't fucking brave enough to fight. Uh-oh.
Can you explain the context of what happened? Is that they didn't know he was a Nazi? I guess?
Yeah. So what happened is that Zelensky is in Ottawa. He's giving a speech, and the Canadian government really stupidly was like, "Oh, we'll get a soldier that's like fought Russia, the other times that Ukraine has risen up against Russia, and they got this 98-year-old, and they did not at one moment stop to think, okay, when's the last time Ukraine rose up against Russia?
Yeah,
Well, the year
yeah.
was 1944. Okay. And who was the opposing side to Russia? Italy, that's right. Japan, oh, of course, and a little group of scraps, little rambunctious organization known as the Nazis, the National Socialist Party of Germany, which through a bunch of Ukrainians joined up. Some didn't like the Soviets, but I assume based on the time and where they were living, a bunch of them also were like, wait, whoa. I get to wear a cool black uniform and you guys hate the Jews? And they're like, that's right. They're like, bro, sign me up. And so, yeah, they literally hosted a Nazi at Parliament Hill in Canada. They gave him a round of applause. And what the best part about it is there's a moment when he's getting the round of applause, you can actually see his face. And he's like, I am a Nazi. They need to stop putting the camera on my face. This is going to be real trouble. And here's why it's getting even better. Poland has already been like, yeah, we've been looking for that guy. You got to send that guy over, actually.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. The Canada is now engaged in 2 different international incidences involving a merchant of death.
It just official friggin' here's my official speech on this. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Oh criminy. But yeah,
it's like Canada did a Veep.
Well, I don't get that.
It's from the show Veep, you fucking
I'm not dumb for not watching Veep.
Yes, you are. You are dumb for not watching Veep. You're supposed to be because now you don't know what to quote back to me, Dylan.
Oh God. Sorry, I haven't watched anything on Stars or whatever.
It's on Max now.
That was I went to Estonia and they had a big thing. It's like, we killed this many Russians here, and I was like, wow. And then you stand there and you're like, oh, basically it was like us, and then in bold, and the Nazis fucked up some Russians. Double flag.
I love the Baltics and Scandinavia, but with the exception of Finland, do not ask what happened during World War II. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those places. It's like when you're in Switzerland. Don't ask anyone's job, because that's where all the really scary companies' headquarters are. You don't want to know. You know, Raytheon? Yeah. I'm the guy that makes sure that the missiles will kill a baby. Okay, well, I'm going to go scream into the night. Goodbye.
They splinter off into very small ones to kill a baby. Do you want some chai?
Here's the rule. Yes. If you're going to get a veteran from the Baltics or Scandinavia, you can only go Finland. Only go Finland, and you gotta specify. You go, did you fight in the Winter War? And if they go, yeah, you go, okay, we can clap for him. If they go, no, watch the fuck out. Like, it's just like, no. It's like NASA in the 50s. Like, just, what did you do before this? I'm not going to tell you. Good point.
So, Jada, here's the thing Jada does, is she goes, oh yeah, we were in an entanglement. And then Will gives her an out, be like, oh, you're indiscretions. And she was like, it was not indiscretions. I actually learned a lot from it.
Oh,
interesting, because it's kind of like, I feel like she's just not saying like, oh yeah, you cheated on me 700 million times and I fuck once and this is fucking the end of the world. Shut up.
I sort of read that slightly differently, where I felt like she was doing a version of that where it's like, this isn't one of your little trollops, Will. I've beaten you. I'm more entangled. Like, it really felt like they are playing out a dynamic of their relationship that is not healthy. And it's like, now it's Jade. Jada's in charge, Will. We'll be listening to my weird metal band every day.
Yeah, it is very much like someone has a puncture wound on their leg and you're like, oh man, you should either lose the leg or get someone to look at it. But they're like, no, I drink a lot of tea and I have a raw food diet now. And you're like, well, there's a lot of pus coming out. You should get some real medicine. No, and I'm going to do a speech about how I don't need modern medicine and how I've eaten so many apples that I'm fine now. Like, it just seems like they're, but I mean, anytime you put the dynamics of a relationship that's been around for like fucking 20 plus years on display, it's going to be fucking weird. Especially in the way that it's like, like people just bickering openly.
Yeah, it's also
fine with.
It's not like a normal relationship. It's also the
No.
relationship for a period of time. The man was one of the he was more bankable of a movie star than Tom Cruise. And so it's just like the power dynamics in that relationship are crazy. On top of everything else, evidently, according to Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett Smith does not like him. Did not like him. And the reason why it stems from is she felt that Chris Rock did not support the calls against Kevin Hart enough when Kevin Hart was removed as host of the Oscars. And according to the T, let's spill it. She like confronted him at dinner parties and was just like, "What the fuck, Chris?" And he was like, "I'm a comedian. Also, you're Jada Pinkett Smith. Why are you talking to? I'm Chris Rock. Like, I am. First of all, Will Smith is not cooler than Chris Rock at any party. It goes Chris Rock, then Will Smith in terms of coolness. I'm going to say that right now.
Really? When?
Now, currently now. I'm
Currently
not
now.
all time now. So I would say in 2015 forward, Chris Rock cooler than Will Smith.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're at a party with both of them, you have so much money. So I don't think anyone's cool. They're just like complaining about the weirdest things.
Oh, you've nailed that because no one who is that successful. Here's what I've learned about no one who is that successful. They are not cool people. They are very driven. Do you party? One time I did spreadsheets in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like
one time I woke up at 5 a.m. like a piece of shit.
Yeah. There was one moment where I wasn't doing anything, and then I immediately went to the hospital and had them tried to have them declare me dead.
Yeah, exactly. So we should, I guess, talk about how this is obviously about the slap. So we talk about Will Smith becoming one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. He meets Jada shortly after The Fresh Prince.
Yeah, he meets Jada Pinkett Smith. She gets a butt in the oven. Woo, raw dog rascal. No dumps, no dumps. And they get married. She has since said, "I did not feel like we should have gotten married, but I was forced to after the conceiving of our first child," which they did conceive.
Too open.
Yeah, she's too open. She really airs the dirty laundry.
Hippies, man. They're just they're. You know what? I don't know.
No, they've been famous for too long. Will Smith has been famous for too long. Part of the reason why Jada Pinkett Smith says that she kind of blames Will Smith for the affair because she was having a midlife crisis and he spent 3 years planning a 40th birthday party for her that involved secret recordings of a grandmother she had never met saying like happy birthday digitized. And she watched up to him and went, "You made this all about you." Like, I'm sorry. Like, I have no context or understanding of who these people are, but Jada Pinkett Smith needs to get a better publicist because if you Google her, every article is this horrible monster takes shit on baby. Like, it's just, yeah.
Well, yeah, he's one of the most beloved television characters and like movie characters. Sorry, like personalities in the history of Hollywood. And then she's some lady who is like obviously just seen as his significant other, and she wants to be more than that. And she's like very obviously like very frustrated by how the public sees her. It probably fucking sucks. She's like, she's an artist too, and she wants to do all these things, and then he like wants to stay with her, so he's like trying to validate her while really sewering his entire career. He sewered his entire career. I'll say this was in a book I read about basically the death of the studio system. So like how it used to work was in the 90s and in the 2000s a minute was you would give Will Smith or Adam Sandler $10 million, let's say, and then they would give you a movie that net gross would do $30 million. And so I think it was Sony would be like Adam Sandler had his own fucking basketball court. Will Smith could do whatever the fuck he wanted. And then obviously Marvel and Disney changed the game and it became about franchises. So Sony was like, "We need a franchise." And Will Smith was like, "Okay, check this out. After Earth." He wrote it. And After Earth was supposed to be like 9 movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like Will Smith. It's going to be fucking. But obviously, what do you think of when you think of Will Smith? You think of a guy, he's got a regular job.
Yeah, he's
a regular guy, whatever. And then he's like, "How about I take that, but in Starfield? How about first movie? I build an outpost and then I mine for ore." That's it.
So here is the thing with Will Smith is all of the movies are the same, which is he is a guy with a job that is tangentially important to the plot. He then becomes very involved in the plot. He's not sure he can do it, but then he immediately can. There's no problems. That's every Will Smith movie. Men in Black, he's a cop. He needs to join Men in Black, which is like being a cop, but more important, he doesn't know if he can do it. Yes, he can. Independence Day.
Yeah.
They need a fighter pilot. Now they need a space pilot. Can he fly in space? Yeah, he can. There we go.
Yeah. Cool underachieving guy has to do corporate thing. Turns out he's great at it.
Yeah.
That's before. Then he starts making like all the movies where he's like, I want to win an Oscar. And it's like that's when everything. All right, here I'm Muhammad Ali, and you're like, yeah, you're fine at this.
I want to point out, by the way, the movie Ali follows the same pattern. I'm a boxer. I'm supposed to be the greatest. I am the greatest boxer in the world. That's it. There it is. Every single one. The pursuit of happiness. I'm supposed to be a really good businessman. Am I going to be able to get there? I am. Like it's just after Earth. Is this Earth? It is. That's where they fucked it up.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah. Honestly, his career peaked when it was like movie and then song about movie. Then you get number one album and number one thing.
Well, it was just Men in Black. Like Men in Black was so insane. Basically,
Wild West too. Wiki Wild.
No, but Wild West wasn't successful. The song was sort of successful, but that movie was not successful.
Wiki Wild West wasn't successful.
The movie or the song?
Wild Wild West successful.
The song successful. The movie not successful.
All right,
Jim West.
You talk about it.
Wild West is the movie of a man, Jim West, he is a black man who in the movie talks about how good it was when they were slaves. And he does.
$220 million worldwide.
Oh, so it was one of those weird. Okay, this is how crazy the studio system was. So that movie
made $50 million. It made $50 million. Production budget was $175 million.
Okay. Oh, then so it didn't make money because then you have to remember in those days you take half the production budget. That's the PR budget.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the publicity budget. So they lost probably $100 million. But in those times, they'd be like, well, whatever. We made it back from that fucking song featuring Cisco. Jim West, Desperado. Okay, so Patton Oswalt ran the MTV Movie Awards. He worked on the MTV Movie Awards and the Wild West choreography for that year, apparently. It took 10 days to do, like was so complicated and insane, open the show. And then the next day the movie came out and was such a bomb. Like it was basically like, this is going to be the next big. It is not. Someone tells Cisco to start writing about thongs.
Hey, all-time domestic box office, 651st.
That's fucking wild. They talk about how that movie, it was like a cancer.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he's doing fucking YOLO mint shit. Anyway,
oh my God.
Then he decides, and then it gets weird. Like Will Smith after social media, Will Smith is like a gong show, and they keep on trying to give him things, and he keeps on like doing fucking weird sci-fi shit. Well, I guess Independence Day obviously was amazing, but he's like one of, and anyway, that seems to be the dynamic. But people fucking hate Jada Pinkett Smith because it's like
hater.
They fucking all the reactions. You can't be like, yeah, I don't know. I think that Jada's right. You'll never find that.
Yeah, no. It's also what is also very fascinating about all of it is it feels like for 10 years we were all like, yeah, Jada. And then like Jada gave everyone a reason. Like people already hated her. And then she was doing a bunch of stuff that was pretty hateable. And then everyone was like, I fucking knew it. Like that's the other thing. And also Will Smith is such a weirdo that when he does this slap, it was this interesting moment where I think the Hollywood community thought he was going to be the hero. So let's move towards what actually happened. So it's the Oscars of 2022. Will Smith is nominated for the movie King Richard, the story of the father of the Williams sisters in tennis, a movie no one needs to see, that never needed to be made.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Suck.
I like a biopic, actually. I would prefer I like a biopic documentary. I like a retrospective documentary of someone's life. Love it. I agree with you. Biopics can eat my asshole. I also hate especially biopics where it's clearly the person is involved, which is so funny how often those happen. Like how apparently intense Ray Charles was involved in his movie in the early stages, where it's like, the person who's playing me better be fucking cool with a fat dick. And they're like, we're not going to see his penis. And he went, did you just say the word C to a blind man, you insensitive fuck? And then it went from there. But it does feel like literally Will Smith was like, I want to be one of the Williams sisters. And they're like, well, you can't. And he was like, write it so that I fucking.
Well, I mean, Hollywood loves a biopic. I just think it's always like, it's just so impossible
Wait a minute. You're right. Here's what he did. He keeps just trying to reinvent his old glories. After Earth is Independence Day, that didn't work. So he's now going like, okay, I'll do Ali or Pursuit of Happiness. I'll combine them. I'm a sports person who is a dad. There we go. Because you have to remember, Will Smith has been famous for too long. So he is not a smart man who knows how the world works. Like,
well, you know how he got into those parties? He was pretending to be someone's fucking kid. I forget who it was.
No, that's from a movie. That's that's the role that broke him. Was he played? It's a famous story of someone pretended to be Sidney Poitier's son and got his way into New York high society. I can't remember what it's called, but the original.
Oh, that's the one where he's got the dude kiss, and then eventually he gets. They're like, oh, you're on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 1990s. You're not kissing a man on camera. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like he was right as Fresh Prince was happening, and Quincy Jones was basically just was like, let me say something to you, Will. We are here to make fucking money from white people in middle America. If they found out you kissed a black man, I'm going to have to get my gun from my fucking Lincoln Continental and put my gun in your asshole. Do you want me to do that? And then he'd be like, Quincy, I did not realize I am that intense. You think you fucking write songs that involve a flute because you're a nice guy? You fucking don't. Bear in mind, Quincy Jones, would you like to know why he thought Frank Sinatra died?
Ate too much candy.
His wife was too old. I'll tell you what, he said that at the funeral. You want to know why Frank died? His wife's too old. You got to have a young wife. Keeps you young. And I want to point this out. Quincy Jones, still alive.
Hell yeah. That's if anyone out there, you want to know, fucking, you dump that person you're with if they're fucking half your age. That's too
Especially if you're still in love. You want to really make it a
33% of your age. Once you get past 60, you need 33% of your age. 20.
That's right.
Half your age minus half your age.
Here's actually the real key to living a long time if you're Quincy Jones. Be the guy that wrote like every theme song in the 60s. That's how you stay alive. You want to know how you stay alive? Be violently and independently wealthy.
Yeah. And then your daughter, Rashida Jones, just is like, oh, my dad's crazy. Anyway, he takes a bath in just pure distilled money. He likes to blend all the money and put it in a tub.
Yeah, Quincy
what else you want to pissy out of your fucking fat pussy before we talk about the slap here?
Let's talk about the slap. They're at the Oscars. Chris Rock is wearing a velvet blazer, blue. Chris Rock, at this point, by the way, is a very good and famous comedian. He has released very good specials, and then he has also released Kill the Messenger. People don't like Tambourine very much. I loved it. I only watched the most recent one for the Will and Jada Pinkett material and didn't watch the rest of it.
The recent one sucked.
I didn't like how he was dressed. Here's my problem. I have a real problem when I like comedy albums because I don't have to see comedians are not good at what they think they should wear to be cool. And Chris Rock is dressed like he's in the white wedding music video for Billy Idol in that fucking special. Like he literally looks like Madonna in the I'm a Virgin fucking tour. Like it's so weird.
It's all the other ones he's wearing all black, but this one he's wearing all white. Yeah, I mean the closing joke. The closer is like weird, and the whole thing is weird where it's like both of you, I feel like both of you are wrong. Also, it's like exactly like you said, it's just a fight between two rich people.
Yeah. And so what happens is, and by the way, we have been in these situations before, which is, here's what I think happened. This is me purely projecting, which is Jada already doesn't like fucking Chris Rock whatsoever and has been fucking saying that to Will the entire time he has been on stage. Then Chris Rock does the most fucking easy, simple fucking bit about how the fact that fucking Jada is bald. Not a very good joke. Pretty classic Chris Rock joke, by the way. Chris Rock loves a 90s reference like nobody's business.
Yeah, well, he's always said like, what do you call it? You have a point, and then you have to basically sub in Henny Youngman, and it was like, yeah, he's very much a Henny Youngman joke where he's like, what was the joke again? It was something about like, yay, hey, here, Jada Pink is here, some GI Jane because she has alopecia.
She's filming GI Jane. Yeah, it's like it's very much a just sort of like
that GI Jane joke, which is like that is a 40-year-old movie almost now.
Mate, like you understand that movie was not that popular. Like of course, the era I was around, I know exactly. I remember because like everyone was just talking about how Demi Moore shaved her head.
Yeah, that was big. That was big. Why the fuck did this freak shave her head?
Why would a woman have short?
That was legit. But anyway, yes. So go for it.
Will Smith stands up.
Then Will Smith stands
walks
up.
on stage, slaps Chris Rock. Chris Rock has the most human reaction ever, which is Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. Let me tell you, when I started watching the Oscars live, I was in Australia. I was about to go do a gala. I've never been more grieving and sad in my life. My best friend had died.
Watch the Oscars live?
Pardon me?
You watch the Oscars live?
I always watch I love the Oscars.
Let me tell you this: your friend dying is the second saddest thing that happened to you. Then why were you watching the Oscars live?
I will explain. I'll explain. So I took a nap and I woke up and I went, "Oh, the Oscars are on. Let me see what's going on." And I literally turned on the TV.
First problem. Why would you do that?
I like the Oscars.
I've never met anyone who watched the Oscars.
Yes, you have. You've met I guarantee you've met women who have watched the Oscars. That is such a blanket statement.
I don't talk to women like that. I don't believe
that is true. You do not. Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go.
That's a different world. Everyone who watches the Oscars, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. There's that many women in the world.
I love it. I love pageantry. I love nonsense. I like celebrities I like seeing actors not being able to act because they are just all awful. Like they're just so bad at reading.
I just hate it when it's like they're like, "Oh, this guy's wearing a bad suit. How is this different than any other of the suits?"
Completely agree. But I want to watch them say. I want to sit there and be like, "Well, what are you fucking wearing, big boy? Huh? Let's see your fucking suit."
That dress looks good, and every time someone wears a dress that isn't exactly everyone else's dress, they're like, "Hit her with a fucking car, take her kids."
Yeah, I didn't realize that we were hosting some sort of skank convention in Los Angeles. Bridget Bardot. I don't know. I think she must be
there.
Dead.
You go. Actually, that's not true. One time, I was roommates with some guys, and they wanted to watch the Oscars, and I just went, "What?" And then I went out. Like I didn't I stood up and I left. And my grandfather, what he did in his grave? What's the opposite of turning over? He fucking came back to life, and he went.
He bowed. He came back to life. He lit a cigarette. He went, "Who are you?" And you went, "I'm your grandson." And he went, "Okay." And that generation. That's the equivalent of him sucking you off.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of being full molested.
Yeah, well, you're an adult.
Oh,
just incest.
That's good. Can't molest an adult. That's going to be our T-shirts. Can't molest it. Get it? $60.
Yeah.
You were watching the Oscars. You had tea. I hope your grandma was there.
My grandma, it was not there. I was in Australia. I was drinking water. I was the Australian jet lag. So you literally feel like someone is taking a shit in your brain.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
I've never felt like, what do I want to do right now? I want to eat literally while shitting. That's what I want to do because I'm so hungry, but for some reason also so full of human shit. Anyway, I literally turned on the Oscars. Chris Rock has just stood there, and then Will Smith. So I get no context to the joke. All I just see is Will Smith smack the shit out of Chris Rock and then walk back to his seat. Now, because it's an international broadcast, they didn't mute it. So I got Chris Rock going, "Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me." And then all this confusion and weirdness. And then it just went. They just froze and went to a shot of the stage and figured shit out. And that's when they went to a commercial break.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing to me about it was like he got slapped, and then I was like, that was the thing I really respected about Chris Rock, where I was like, oh, he's still a comedian because he just did a line that was funny. And then the only thing that made it weird was when everyone, this is the thing, Chris Rock says the thing, gets slapped. Sorry, Chris Rock gets slapped, says the thing, and then it's normal. And then Will Smith clearly isn't happy that it's still normal, and that's when he says, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." And then Chris Rock drops the Chris Rock voice and goes, "I will." That was my favorite part.
Like, and here is the moment right there. This is the difference between me and Chris Rock, which is I talk a big game here on the program. I am not a violent man, but Dylan is aware of this. I have a rage inside me. And I got news for you. If I had been Chris Rock in that moment and Will Smith had slapped me, I'm not physically saying anything to Will Smith, but get ready for the amount of expletives that would have flown in that theater. Holy shit. Like it would have been, I would have looked down the camera and gone, go get the beep button. And then literally listen up, you Philadelphia fucking cunt. I'm going to Independence Day your penis from your body. Your wife sucks. The only thing interesting about her is that her hair went. Let's get away from this frigid cunt. Oh my God. Their own children could have been famous and they chose to dress like club murals from the 80s. What a bunch of fucking zeros. Also, and I'll say this again, we're about to cut out. Every fucking loser in that fucking theater that applauded for him, we'll talk about this afterwards, all can fucking rot in hell. Fuck them. Fucking Academy Awards cunts.
The guys who applauded for Will Smith?
Yeah, they applauded for Will Smith. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about this. Here's my opinion. Talk shit, get hit. We'll talk about that after the break.
What? We are back. You've just joined our Patreon. I'm the Will Smith. Dylan is the JADA.
Oh, I cheated on John, and then I used therapy language to make him think he's the problem.
Or am I? I am.
That was the thing about that red table thing, is that that interview, she does use like coded language to be like, actually, here's how I turn it around on you, which I guarantee hit home for a lot of people as like, oh, this is like the new age of like, how you just take the argument to a different place and talk about how much it helped. It actually just helped me when I cheated because like, now I feel valid and now I can return to our relationship as a better and more helpful partner to you. So if anything, cheating was a lot like taking a sewing class.
Dylan has nailed that, by the way. I remember with an ex-girlfriend, I remember saying, stop using your therapy speak. You were just being rude. And I remember seeing the look on that person's face. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, this is not going to last much longer. And this person's not a good person. This person's fucking nuts. Like it was one of those ones where do you ever say a comment to someone that you have a lot of affection and love for, and then you realize, oh, that means something different to them? Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, I get real, like whenever anyone uses therapy speak, I get real angry. Because it is like,
are you like me?
Like trying to, when someone's like, there's a difference. All right, so here's another one of my pet peeves, and this happens a lot because I watch a lot of sports. Is my friends will be like, I feel like my rotator cuff. I feel like my rotator cuff may be aggravated. I'm like, no, you fucked your shoulder. You're not a doctor.
Yeah,
you don't know. You can't pinpoint what it is, and then they go to the doctor, and it's like, no, your joint messed up. It's like,
I love you so much.
Doctor.
I completely agree. Do you know what I hate even more? Have you ever had this? And you've had broken bones where you get that guy telling you about your injury and what you need to be doing. I had a broken shoulder and I had two different neighbors. They were like, you need to stretch that. And I remember saying to one of them, I'm like, I'm in a sling, man. Do you think I can stretch the sliced and broken muscles and bones in my life? Are you fucked? Like, oh no. The lack of suits being worn by sports analysts is a fucking crime against humanity because that's just allowing people without suits to be like, I'm the same as this guy. I love Pat McAfee. I think what Pat McAfee has done to, in terms of like fucking current events programming, let alone sports, is amazing. But his insistence on just wearing a tank top is emboldened every douchebag with a chain to think that they're a fucking analyst.
Oh yeah, being a shithead is back, baby.
Oh my God.
15 years off, I think. Financial, as we mentioned 100 times, financial crisis took a lump out of shit bags, but
they're back, baby.
I saw fucking two kids with full mullets and their dad had a neck tattoo. I was like, this is like white trash generations.
It's the most amazing thing. I think that more than even Pat McAfee, do you know who I actually think is the scumbag king? Is Aaron Rodgers. Here's why.
Oh, the anti-vax thing? Or
it's the anti-vax thing, but it's coupled by how he just appears is on the Pat McAfee show, just relaxed on the sofa, no matter the situation. So it just seems like Aaron Rodgers can handle anything, and just scumbag, stupid idiots. They're going to be like, man, this guy's the best. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. Fuck him and his inability to win a fucking Super Bowl. Where I fucking come from, do you know what fucking world-class athletes get? Championships. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he did win one though.
I didn't think he did. Did he win one?
Oh, he's won one. Yes.
No. Not when I was
think
paying
it's pretty
attention. Doesn't
champagne
count.
Problems. It's like when you win one at the end of your career, that's like fine, but then you win one in the middle, and everyone's like, "He's a shit now." It's like, all right.
I love the NFL, which is if you, as a quarterback, if you are not Tom Brady, you're not literally a once in a century athlete. You know what you are? You're a piece of shit. Pick up my shit.
That's what happens when you get $40 million a year to do an activity.
Yeah. They're doing a thing that Dylan makes his son do so he can just stand and stare at the sky. Go throw a ball.
Force him.
Yeah.
I would with yourself. Daddy needs to look at asses.
Yeah. Daddy's going on bigtitsroundasses.com. You better fucking learn how to punt. Someone's got to pay for my monthly subscription to Bang Bros.
I don't go on aggregator websites. I support them individually. I will fucking till the day I die.
They're paying for that domain name, and I will assist them in that effort.
I support artists.
Now, Dylan, we literally in the break we made a plan of what we were going to talk. Oh, I made a plan of what we were going to talk about. That we just riffed on fucking Pat McAfee for 5. Anyway, so what happens?
Yeah, we're mentally ill, and actually, if you guys are judging us for how off topic we get, then
that's
you
correct.
Are subjugating us.
Good. The other angle you could have taken using that is actually because we're veering. That shows that I'm actually in my body. So you not liking that we're veering from the plan, that shows that you're not in your body. So you should give me $1,500.
Yeah, I think confrontation should be somewhere between Will Smith and Jada Pinkett and Jerry Springer. I think that's because Jerry Springer doesn't ring true because people are so angry. And then Jada and Will doesn't. It's like, okay, you clearly Will Smith is upset and he's just pretending like he's not or trying to get this red table thing off the ground. This is the other thing.
People don't know how to yell at each other anymore. This is the fucking problem. Shut up. This is why.
People don't know how to yell at each other anymore.
No.
You fucking, once again, you spend 2 weeks out here, buddy. You know.
I agree.
You want to go to a grocery store here at 5:30 p.m.? You'll see you'll see people swing at other people.
The amount of what's the best about Los Angeles is you can see it. Like I drive a truck because I'm a douchebag, so no one knows that I'm in show business, but everyone else who's in show business is in a Prius. And you can see the douchebag. My favorite is if you see someone smoking in a Prius, follow that person. They're about to do something really stupid that's going to get them fucking screamed at. I was going through Koreatown and this guy in a fucking Tesla cut off someone in like a shitty, dingy, like 90s Toyota. The truck takes off after the Tesla. They get lined up at a red light. Guy in the truck just gets out, knocks on the driver's side window. And I'm like, what's going on here? He doesn't react. And the guy just walks to the front of the car, just stands there and giving him the finger until the lights change again. So they are stood there through a green. He just stood in front of a car through a green. Then it hits to a red. At that moment, he just walks back to his car, sits in his car, and they have to sit there for the red. That's fucking confrontation right there. Not man enough to hit me with a car, huh? Well, you just got to sit here and think, what am I going to do next? What I'm talking about is people in relationships, the amount of post a comedy show person getting kicked out for being a piece of shit in a post-COVID world. Here's how these interactions used to go in 2019. You were drunk, Brad. Get out. Okay. Like that's the wife saying to Brad, they walk together. I'm legitimately serious where like literally I've seen people sit down with a drunk person and go, that's not how we do that. This is not appropriate. And it's like, this is not the time for the soft therapy voice. You're dealing with a drunken idiot. Just take them home and have the soft conversation when they're hungover, not when they're drunk. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah. I mean, we should all have tasers.
I mean, of course. Actually, no, I disagree. It's taser or pepper spray, but you have to decide when you're 18 and you don't get to go back.
Okay. Pepper spray's fucked.
That's why, yeah, pepper spray is. I remember I have a few buddies in law enforcement. One of them is a Mountie, and that you have to get pepper sprayed on your last day of training. And I was like, "Is that true?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What's that like?" He's like, "It's the worst. It's the fucking worst." Like, he's like, "Your face." He's like, "It gets in your face. Like it's everywhere. It's the worst stuff."
I fucking would get so hard. I would teach myself to get so hard when they pepper sprayed me.
Oh my god, do you understand?
Ooh,
Do you know how you could fucking change You could change protesting and marches forever if you just taught protesters just anytime you get pepper sprayed, you get a hard dick. Like, how fucking would that freak out just a bunch of police officers? A cloud of tear gas, it clears, it's just a bunch of dudes. Boy, yo, this is what this does to
They
us.
probably sucked him off.
Yeah.
That's the end of protest, bro.
Yeah, the WHO protest ended in cum earlier today when a group of protesters were able to get hard.
Ended in cum. That's what the news would say.
Ended in cum.
Ended in cum.
The march in front of Queen's Park today ended in cum when police officers deployed pepper spray, and as we all know, that made Antifa's big old peens real hard.
So, what would you have done if you were Jada? If you were in a let's say you're in a relationship right now. Let's say you cheated on her, and then you decided, and years later, you were like, "I'm going to rehash this for a fledgling show on Facebook." How would you word that, and how would you expect her to respond? You be you, I'll be me. This is how I would do it.
Okay, so I'm telling you that I have cheated on you.
You remind, because we've dealt with this, and now we're bringing it up again, which is allegedly what happened.
Oh, I remember that time in Tahoe when I was at the podcasting convention, Dylan, and I ended up, and now I'm speaking in metaphor, appearing on someone else's program, having sex.
I thought we talked about this and dealt with it. Why are you? Is this just because you're afraid this will fail? I understand I'm more successful than you, but maybe you shouldn't put your professional aspirations above our family. That's what I would have said.
And then if I'm being Will,
standing all the way and pointing, and also, since Will's a lot bigger than Jada, I'm so close to her face without touching her. I do that. Like, fucking, you want that? Huh?
Here's what I would also say if I was Will Smith.
So that's also wrong, I guess.
Also, here's my fucking question. And I've said it before and say it again. Will Smith has $100 million. What are you doing on fucking television? What are you doing making movies? Do you want to, if I had $100 million, do you know what you would see? Me never again. Where's John? I don't know. What's that noise? Probably someone laughing. Like, what are you doing?
It is, you will say this, is I like it, and this is something I liked in England, is that you would get to see the people who basically like acting like we like comedy, where it's like Christian Slater. When I saw Christian Slater live, also known as Glengarry Glen Ross, but I calling it Christian Slater live. That's exactly, I would just do theater.
Yeah, you just hang out. Yeah, Christian Bale.
You act. Actually, act, Bill Smith.
You also know why Christian Slater likes the doing plays in the West End, right?
Suck off the king.
You're not far. Christian Slater likes to party, and supposedly the rumor is he really likes getting jerked off at rub and tugs, and all the theaters are by a bunch of rub and tugs, which is one of the reasons why he's like, I love doing theater in fucking London. Get jacked off all the time. And bear in mind, I was told that by two people who both emailed me to get involved in NFTs, so I don't know if I can necessarily trust the information.
No, here's the thing.
But I want to.
Some guy told me as fact.
What?
We're going to have an entire episode on how definitely Richard Gere still has gerbils up his butt.
Oh my God. That's my favorite one in the entire, because that one went around the world. You can be in a Buddhist monastery in the treetops of some mountain in Tibet and turn to them and be like, Richard Gere's been here, right? And they would smile like this. He has.
Mm-hmm. While praying, all the gerbils fell out of his ass.
Yeah, you could say that joke to the fucking Dalai Lama.
Best I can tell, too, from looking it up, sorry to cut you off, best I can tell about Richard Gere, that happened because he was a pretty man in the 80s.
I completely agree with you. The reason why they think he put gerbils in his ass is, I'm going to do one step better, which is the movie Officer and a Gentleman. He's just nice to a woman, and I guarantee someone was like, only some sort of fucking city gay guy with gerbils in his asshole is nice to a woman.
It's probably Pretty Woman that did it, where it's like, wait,
no.
Prostitute like a person? Nope, gerbil in his butt.
I asked my mom, and she was like, I remember hearing the gerbil in his butt thing. She's like, we heard about that in I think it's Officer and the Gentleman. I think as soon as
when he became a
yeah, that's right. Home. That's people eating his air. It's so sweet smelling.
Do you think it would have made it better if Jada stepped outside of their marriage, which they may be poly? This is the funny thing, is like Will Smith.
Cheat or not, I think it's totally fine. Here's the problem. Here's where I start having a problem in their relationship. What?
Saying the age of the person is bad.
That's not great. I just also don't like, why the fuck are you slapping Chris Rock like that? The whole thing comes down to your marriage has communication problems. It has nothing to do with the keep her off the pole guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He does come off like a soldier. He's like a, this is the funny thing. People thought he was going to be make him a big thing because he's like a wife guy, where it's like, you hurt my wife's feelings, fuck you, I'm gonna slap you up. But
yeah, but no one likes that type of wife guy. If Will Smith had taken Chris Rock aside and been like, I didn't love that joke, that's one thing. He literally, the other thing that no one talks about is part of it was it took all those Hollywood douchebag actors to be done with the ceremony to realize, hey, motherfucker, you can't commit assault on international television and not think you're going to get some fucking repercussions. Like, fucking Will Smith can fuck off. He should have been fucking escorted from the venue the second he did that. Instead, he won an Oscar, got an applause break, and it took comedians afterwards being like, this is fucking bullshit. And listen, all jokes aside, I've had people come on stage and try and attack me dozens of times. And some of those, I brought it on myself, but a bunch of them was still fucking unnecessary aggression from fucking assholes. And it's incidents like this that make people think it's okay to attack people when they're on stage.
yeah, well, there's the old school. We can talk about this part. We're the old school comedians where it's like you get the stool at the weighted thing, and it's like as soon as someone steps foot on that stage, you just fucking brain them with the stool.
What's your move? Is stool? My move is mic stand. As someone who has done it, who's had to be pretty close, my move is you hold the mic stand just sort of like you're moving around.
My move is cower.
Oh yeah, no, I've never been in a situation where it would have been worse if most of these happened at Late and Live.
My favorite was, oh yeah, Late and Live. You did there's two girls from Essex. I said something horrible. I said something that now put in jail, borderline.
Oh yeah.
And then they came at the stage. They were being real rude and not paying attention in a small crowd. And I just decided I was in a bad mood that day. I'm just gonna light the place on fire. And
That's
then our friend Evelyn was there, and I was like, Evelyn will defend me. I don't know why I thought that.
No, worst defender.
To my left, I was like, Evelyn's there. I said
Gone.
the main thing. These women, yeah. Oh, it was like fucking Looney Tunes. Her coat was still there, and you just saw a puff of smoke. And then I was like, well, this is bad. And then all I did was like stick my arm out. So I got the arm. It's funny because it's from watching UFC where I'm like, oh, someone want to fight like this. So I just put my arm on their collarbone, and they were just like kind of flailing, and I was like, you're gonna regret this in the morning. And then that's when I landed a fucking knee. No kidding. And that's when I dropped both them, and I was like, oh wow, is this computers and math? Because I dropped both of y'all in grade 11, flexed over their unconscious bodies.
Didn't you also piss yourself and then look at them and go, that's to let you know that I also have some flaws? Like you were like, I'm still better than you, but I'm letting you know that I.
One time I pissed myself as a joke and no one found it funny. Wouldn't it be funny if I pissed my pants and I was like, someone was at a party was like, are you pissing your pants? I was like, yeah.
That's up there with
what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, I guess I didn't think this one through.
That's up there with this. I just remember this. This is a crowning achievement. I was there for this, but this was not my idea, which is I got to be very careful because there's some union jobs involved in this. But a friend of mine we're at a house party, and he was like, would it be really funny if I went in this other room and spun my dick? and my buddy went, yeah, man, real good idea. So he just walked into a room and did a helicopter spin with his penis. And then literally my buddy described it as 30 people walked out like, what the? Like they had just seen someone for no reason helicopter their penis. And then all these people like left the house party. And then my one friend walked by and he went, they didn't go for the helicopter. And he went, yeah, I knew they weren't. It's the best.
Yeah, I love it when someone's like, hey, I have a terrible idea. And your good friend goes, do the terrible idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's actually a really good idea. What were we talking about? John, continue.
So Will Smith wins an Oscar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Will Smith, you're angry at the people that applauded.
I'm angry at the people who applauded. I'm angry that the Academy didn't immediately eject him from the building, because here's the other.
Will Smith, and then just like immediately after, be like, hey, Will Smith won, but that was one of their big awards, so they're kind of hamstrung. Where it's like, okay, well, this is silly, but it's like the greatest thing in television history just happened, but we still need more television.
Well, this is the other thing is it's like they were stupid in that if they had done that and he had not been in the building, it would have actually been a better news story because the news story became just the slap and then them not doing anything, as opposed to if there would have been like, well, he did the slap, so we kicked him out, and he even won anyway, but we didn't even let him. Like, it could have been a much calmer story, but by having him win the Oscar, I think it gave it a lot of energy. And it was only afterwards when people literally had to call for the Academy to ban him. Like, people had to be like, "This is bullshit. Like, get him out of here. This is fucked up." Like Chris Rock, I think probably like Chris Rock's reps, I'm sure had to be like, listen, we're not Will Smith, but we're still Chris Rock, and soon that will be way more than Will Smith. So fucking guess again.
Well, to me, also when Will Smith slaps him, and then afterwards, you can see Chris Rock in his head being like, "I don't want to do a podcast. I'm not gonna say," you know what I mean? Where it's like, he's like, "I'm the last of the '90s fucking Hollywood stars, '90s 2000s. I'm not doing a podcast. I don't want to work every day.
You could really see him just be like,
I'm going to do a Netflix special. My brother is going to say," that was the Tony Rock thing where Tony Rock just kept on threatening Chris or Will Smith. It was like
the best.
Yes. Tony Rock's great because it's like, here's Chris Rock if he just only cared about making people laugh.
That I got to tell you, if you think there's Tony Rock, there are so many Rock siblings that do stand up. His mom does stand up.
That's awesome.
Because I've met other ones. There's more than just Tony.
Tony's, so it's like Chris, and then Tony's great too, and then there's a ton more.
There's a ton more, and they're all pretty good. Like, it's one of those ones where you're like, genetics not everything, but it helps. Like, you're like, holy shit. And they were all
Chris Rock, a Rock fucking family. Oh, they all had like, "I'm Chris Rock's mom. If that guy fucking does shit to my fucking kid, I'll fuck him up." And everyone's
supposedly
like,
so according,
let's fucking get him.
According to Black Twitter, and this means like literally, I have no idea if this is true. I just want this to be true.
Tell me about Black Twitter, John.
Do you not know about Black Twitter? It's basically just.
I know about it. I've heard people talk about it, but I've never heard someone with our combined pigment, which is as see-through as the walls. Like, we can barely differentiate between.
Yeah, exactly.
Wall.
Why are these walls doing a podcast? Listen, a good portion of Black Twitter is just 50 Cent and then reacting to the people 50 Cent has called out, and it is the best.
So what does Black Twitter think?
Supposedly, the rumor was that 50 Cent called Will Smith and called him a punk bitch and told him to stay out of New Jersey. Now, I don't know if any of that's true, but I want it to be so true, particularly New Jersey. You stay out of fucking New Jersey, because apparently that's where 50 Cent's house is.
Yeah, just stay out of a place you were never gonna go anyway.
Yeah, stay out of the suburbs of a fun place. Okay,
hey,
that's a good.
This is a message for the whole band Coldplay. You better stay out of fucking the Danforth, I guess.
Yeah, I just want to let the band Nickelback know you may not want to pop into Eagle Rock.
I mean, they'll blow your back out anyway. We'll do a fucking episode on Nickelback and how
I respect Nickelback so much. Here's what
now.
Mostly because what they've done is they've stopped letting Chad give interviews, and now they're letting the rest of the band give interviews, and they're like, "Yeah, man, that guy's weird. What do you want? Like, you not want $8 million? Because I want $8 million. Come on, I'll play the bass." And then you're like, yeah, that's right.
So Chris Rock does his stand-up special. Some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah, he's dressed in a lot of lace. He basically
he's wearing lace.
It's very lacy. He's got fabric in between his little fingers, giving him a witchy vibe. Ooh.
He's pretty angry about it. He seems really angry. Anyway, let's not talk about a fucking guy stand up. I feel like a fucking loser. But anyway,
no, let's dissect it. Let's be
like what's happening now? Like, is Will Smith the thing I think that marked the most about Will Smith here, and the most damaging thing to him, like, clearly he has more money than fucking God right now, but Will Smith's whole character, every character he played when he was like Hollywood's biggest star, was cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
And then leading up to it, it was like, here's Will Smith crying. Here's Will Smith getting so angry he slaps somebody. Here's Will Smith
so funny
crying again. It's like, I couldn't imagine what Will Smith crying looked like, except for if his dad died, which it did in The Fresh Prince in that one scene. Then it's like,
his dad didn't die.
Smith ugly crying.
His dad did not die. His dad just did not take him. Just did not take him on a trip to the States in his truck. If you make a mistake about the Fresh Prince of Bel Air again, I'm
I
going to
said
come
he's
to your
dead
house.
to him. He's emotionally dead.
You know, I don't care for speculation when it comes to the classics.
That's good. I just you got lured in and then I fucking slapped you. But anyway, yeah. So it's I don't know. What if you're Will Smith? What do you do now other than have the most?
He just waited out. Will Smith is going to do what all celebrities do post disgrace. He's going to wait it out. He's going to appear in what you'll be like, that's a bit of a weird action movie for him to appear in. Within 3 years, he'll be like a third tier actor in a Ben Affleck ensemble drama about the invention of the Hewlett Packard printer. 18 months after that, he'll appear as like the funny comedy character in whatever the Will Ferrell bounce back movie is going to be, like Weather Piss, Johnny Underpants,
Weather Piss,
Johnny Underpiss.
That's a good name for. What's the plot of Weather Piss? Please bring that out.
The plot of Weather Piss. It's a weatherman who keeps urinating his trousers. Because whenever someone says there's gonna be rain, he's like a method weatherman, so he just pisses. And
I thought it was gonna be that like all the weather is piss now. So sorry, snow is piss. Rain.
If you
piss.
could maybe not ruin the climax of the movie.
Okay.
He befriends a scientist who he hopes to stop being able to piss during the weather. The scientist misunderstands, makes a weather machine that turns all the weather into piss. The only weatherman who can properly report it, the man who pisses.
Okay, this is my movie Cloud Come.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so clouds, right? You know how clouds there's rain that's come now. It's pretty much like the weather piss. It's like what's it called? Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan. They'll come out at the same time, and everyone will be like, "Those two." And I was like, "I wrote it actually before."
I remember in university, a couple of people that were like, "Hey, we're in the reserves," got really angry at me because I said that Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers were basically the same thing, and they were like, "Whoa, that's really disrespectful to the vets." And I was like, "I'm not talking about the war, you fucking idiots. I'm talking about the fucking the fantasy representation of the fucking war, you losers."
Those people are banned from Weather Piss. There's not allowed to see the majesty that is Will Smith starring in Weather Piss.
He's not starring. He's part of the ensemble. The Weather Piss weatherman is Nicolas Cage. And if you think
sir, go for it.
If you think that Weather Piss could be made without Nicolas Cage above the fucking title, I'd like to fucking see it.
Do you know what I think that the world wants, John?
Go ahead.
I think here's what the world wants is a movie starring Chris Rock and Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett Smith looks like she's going to be the romantic interest, but then Will Smith pushes her into a printing press and she dies slowly. I think that's what the world wants.
The internet is at a place where if Will Smith wanted to literally get his career back, the day after he slapped Chris Rock, if he had just paid for an editor to pretend that he threw Jada into a wood chipper, he would currently be the Barbie movie would be Will Smith is Barbie, all characters played by Will Smith. Also, Oppenheimer is also Will Smith, all characters.
Yeah, and I mean, if you Google Will Smith Jada or YouTube, sorry, if you put that into YouTube, every thumbnail is like Jada Pinkett Smith looking like Lex Luthor. So it's
my God,
about what it is.
Say what you want about the incel community that operates on the internet. They really, I'm going to say this. They really agree with Chris Rock on this situation.
Yeah, they agree with it. It could have just been someone's uncle to hey, you cue ball, freaking you're a bowling ball, bitch, and then everyone would be like, oh, I defend that great joke.
I got to tell you, I think that's a better joke than his G.I. Jane. Cunt with her billiard ball head.
Hey, is it the curtain match the drapes? Bald. Haha, you have a disease. That's what I would have said.
What's the patio on Queen Street? The Black Bowl? Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that what it's called?
Ontario, Canada. Yes.
In Toronto, Canada. I remember I saw a guy drinking a bunch of pitchers by himself on that patio one time while I was just smoking cigarettes waiting for the Rivoli show to start. And he stood up from his seat. And there was a pretty lady walking by and he just yelled, "Hey, asshole. I want to see your asshole." Ass.
I remember there was I was
God
on
bless
the
it.
patio of the Rivoli. Well, actually one time I got drunk on the Black Bull. I stood up and then I looked to my right and two raccoons were having sex on a roof and then I went, "Hell yeah, it's gonna be a good day." And
Ow!
I don't know. Obviously I drank a lot back then, but I took
Oh
that as I
yeah.
was like, I gotta get drunker, man. That's a sign from God, dude.
Man, I remember a couple of times we got drunk in those weird sort of half bars that have just a bunch of food that doesn't make it sense on how cheap it was. You know what I'm saying? Like Playtime, Nirvana, Red Room. I don't think those bars
Oh
exist
yeah, they were
anymore.
like owned by the same guy. Yeah. Oh, those were fucking awesome.
Oh my god! All like the beer, like people will always be like, they recycle the beer, and it'd be like, yeah, it's also $5. So how about you stop fucking criticizing my favorite restaurant?
I don't want to get drunk in my terrible apartment by myself, so I'm
Yeah,
outside with my friends. And yes, I'm drinking fucking backwash, but you know what?
yeah, we're drinking
You
rot gut.
telling me that made me defensive and angry.
Yeah, I don't got a kitchen. I don't got a living room either. The couch is in the kitchen. If we're gonna fucking criticize people's lives, we don't need to start with the bar I'm at. For fuck's sake, I'm an independent comedian earning money off of stand up in 2009. Do you understand that I have no money? I walked here.
Yeah. This is the other thing is like if someone's doing something dumb and it's not gonna kill them, just tell them after, not during.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like, unless it's like they're just like just fucking smoking fentanyl or whatever, then yeah, probably during.
Yeah, I mean, during's not really going to help. As someone who has taken fentanyl for surgery, you're focused on other things.
Oh yeah, you're focused on a good time.
I remember when I had to take a bunch of Oxycontin for my shoulder injury, and I had to take it in front of a friend the first time because they were like, "People react pretty weird to this." And I remember I took 4 Oxycontins, and I remember saying to my friend Chris, "Do you think it worked?" And he went, "Yeah, man, you just started smiling."
Oh yeah, I had a beer for the first time in 6 months. This was like I was like 19. I was like, I just can't afford beer, and I could. And then I was like, I took a sip, and then this guy was like, "Why are you smiling?" And I was like, "What?" I took a sip of beer, and I inadvertently just like, I was like, "We're back, baby."
Good for you, Dylan. Dylan, we have to wrap up this episode. I need to go take what feels like to be a massive shit.
John, do you think that the Oscars will ever have something that good happen again? Because I really
Yes.
don't. I think that was like the last gasp of television.
I think this is the time to announce it. The Oscars this year will be hosted by us. That's how far down they've come.
Yeah, fucking Weather Piss is winning a goddamn.
Oh my
Oscar
God,
too.
Weather Piss is winning best cinematography. That's for free. You can actually see the piss.
Yeah, Doctor Shit. Yeah, that's an IMAX experience. They fucking blow real piss on you.
It's a 3D experience, but you have to piss yourself. The only way you can get into the 3D experience of Weather Piss is you have to show up with piss pants.
All right, so after this, you stupid fucks, we're gonna be talking about fucking House of Cards, bitch.
Dylan's favorite show. Only started watching it in the year 2018.
Yeah, get Spacey out of there. That's what I said.
No, that's not what you said.
I haven't watched the final season of House of Cards. I'm so excited to watch them step by step. Kevin Spacey's character, Frank Underwood. I watched the whole thing up until that, and then Frank Underwood died off screen. This show's still going now.
I watched up until he became the president, and then I said this show is no longer going to be good. Turned out I was right.
It was bad the whole time. The first season's
good. First season is good. Everything else is bad. It's the classic American television show. It's the Californication of it all. I mean,
Californication sucked too. Yeah.
Californication is a horrendous television show. The first season is fun. The first season is a fun lark. It runs. It's the right amount of humor. It's balanced. It makes sense. It concludes perfectly. House of Cards, sort of similar. If they just ended the first season with, "Oh, he is a bad guy, here we go," instead it's like, no, in the second season he's just gonna full murder someone, and now we're taking this way too far.
Yeah, I mean, Californication was seemingly written by a guy going through something about how he sees himself. He's like, "And then I fuck Susan Sarandon's daughter, in brackets, you see her tits.
Nice.
I show up, motorcycle, then I fuck my ex-wife. She loved it. I leave. Yeah. Everyone's cool with it."
Here's the movie. I get to have full sex with 3 women, and then they say, "Good job." Okay, yeah. What's the plot? That's the plot.
I go to Motley Crue's house. All of them are there. They ask if they could fuck me. I say no. Then they say, well, then you fuck our wives. I say yes. Fuck their wives. Say it was bad. They cry. The end. Californication season 2. Same thing with, I don't know, fucking whoever's popular now. I fuck them.
From your lips to God's ears, my man. All right. I got to go before this podcast turns brown. Love you all. Patreon. Join our Patreon. Join our Patreon. Join our Patreon.